Today, we're going to dive into the story behind one of the most famous words in the entire history of science. It's a single shout that announced a massive breakthrough and has, believe it or not, echoed through the centuries ever since. Eureka! To get to the bottom of this, we've got to travel way back in time. Over 2,200 years ago, actually, to the sun-drenched shores of ancient Syracuse in Greece. It's a fantastic story, full of genius, a little bit of suspicion, and a truly brilliant puzzle. All right, let's set the scene. Our story's got a few key players: a suspicious king, a goldsmith who might not be on the level, and, of course, our hero, the brilliant thinker and mathematician Archimedes. So, the king had just been given this beautiful new crown, right? A real symbol of his power and wealth. But he had this nagging feeling. He suspected the goldsmith had pulled a fast one on him, secretly mixing cheaper silver into the gold and pocketing the extra cash. He needed proof, and for that, he went to the smartest guy around. Now, the king's challenge here wasn't just a simple request. I mean, think about it. It was a seemingly impossible task. How in the world do you test what's inside a solid object without completely destroying it? It was a really cruel but very clever puzzle. And for a while, even the great Archimedes was totally stuck. He wrestled with this problem day and night, knowing the stakes were super high, but the answer just wouldn't come. You can just imagine that crown sitting there, silently mocking his genius. Okay, so this brings us to the moment where all that frustration and a simple, everyday act collide to create a legendary stroke of genius. It's the perfect example of how the biggest ideas can pop up in the most ordinary places. So just picture Archimedes. His mind is still spinning, trying to crack this crown problem, and he's just trying to relax in a public bath. As he gets into the tub, he notices something he and literally everyone else had seen 1,000 times before. But this time, he didn't just notice it. He really saw it. And then, bam, the light bulb goes on. He realized that the water spilling over the edge wasn't just a mess. It was a measurement. The volume of the water that got pushed out had to be exactly equal to the volume of whatever was put in it. And that was the key. He had cracked it. You see, gold is way denser than silver. That means a chunk of gold takes up less space, it has less volume, than a chunk of silver that has the exact same weight. So if the crown was mixed with silver, it would have to be bulkier than a pure gold one, and it would push out more water. He was so overcome with the sheer joy and the brilliance of his own discovery that he just leaped out of the bath. And as the legend goes, he didn't even stop to grab a towel. He just started running through the streets of Syracuse, shouting this famous phrase over and over again. And while his fellow citizens were probably staring in total confusion, this one word marked a huge moment in scientific discovery. Archimedes hadn't just solved the king's little problem, he'd stumbled upon a fundamental law of the universe. So he has this amazing bathtub theory, but how did Archimedes actually put it into practice to finally get to the truth about the king's crown? Well, the experiment was simple but absolutely elegant. He took a lump of pure gold that weighed exactly the same as the crown. First, he dunked the gold and measured how much water it displaced. Then, he did the same with the crown. And the result? It was obvious. The crown pushed out way more water. The crown was clearly less dense than pure gold, which could only mean one thing. A cheaper, lighter metal like silver had been mixed in. The king's suspicions were confirmed. Archimedes' brilliant method had exposed the fraud perfectly, and he did it all without leaving a single scratch on the crown. But this discovery was so much bigger than just one dishonest goldsmith. It became known as Archimedes' principle, a foundational concept in physics that explains buoyancy, that upward force a fluid exerts. It's the reason giant steel ships can float, and, yep, it's still taught in pretty much every science class today. So why does this one word, shouted from a bathtub in ancient Greece, still resonate so powerfully with all of us today? What did that moment really represent? Well, that one shout has become this immortal symbol for that incredible aha moment. You know the feeling, right? It's when a puzzle just suddenly clicks into place. That instant when chaos turns into clarity. It's an experience that everyone, from scientists to artists to kids solving a riddle, understands on a deep level. I mean, think about it. Every time you've struggled with a tough problem and then suddenly the solution just appears in your mind, you've had your own eureka moment. This ancient story literally gave a name to one of the most satisfying feelings the human mind can experience, the pure thrill of a breakthrough. And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. Eureka represents that timeless, thrilling feeling of a complex problem suddenly making perfect, beautiful sense. It's not just about finding an answer. It's about the pure, unfiltered joy of the discovery itself.